I learned a lesson that in business, in entrepreneurship, not only your due diligence, but you're going to go through shit. That's what I want to talk about here today, because a lot of people get into entrepreneurship thinking that you're not going to go through nothing. There's pitfalls, there's obstacles, and that's why I wrote my book. But here's the one thing that I often tell people, Curtis. If I had not have failed in that space, I wouldn't be here today. Peace, family. What's going on? Will Roundtree here on the Full-Time CEO podcast, where we talk about business, entrepreneurship, pop culture, entertainment, sports, and all that good stuff. I am here with my co-host, Curtis. What up, man?
What's good, brother?
Man,
how you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man.
First time on location, man. We're working with an entrepreneur here in Las Vegas. We're at the Smok shop.
Smoke without the E.
Smoke without the E. Cigar Lounge here in Las Vegas. Shout out to Chelsea for letting us come here to her establishment and letting us do our podcast for today.
Man, it's good to support local businesses. Not only is the business woman owned, it's also veteran owned.
Veteran owned and woman owned. That is very special. She is this is a 15-year dream for her.
15-year dream.
Man.
So for all y'all who think you're gonna get into business and blow up in 3 days,
it takes a minute.
It's a 15-year journey.
Man, she had a dream. She had a vision. And shout out to her for those.
Shout out again to Chelsea.
Being consistent and following through with her dream. She really wanted this.
Definitely. That's what being a full-time CEO is about.
Definitely. That's what being a full-time CEO is about. And go online and check out the new merch we got, though.
Oh, man.
We got those colors.
We got the salmon.
We got the salmon. That's my love.
Is it salmon or mauve?
That's mauve.
It's mauve.
So, I mean, what we got going on today, man? It's a lot of things going on here in Las Vegas. We are here in Las Vegas live on set, and the mid-season tournament's going on right now.
Before we do that, can we spark up? I mean, we are in a cigar lounge.
We are in a cigar
lounge.
Cheers to the cigar.
Cheers to the cigars. We got a lot of people don't know how to. It's an art.
Definitely.
To doing the cigars.
Make sure that it burns even.
It got to burn even. All right. Let's see what we got.
Mine's coming apart on my lip. Gucci though.
All right. All right, there we go. Now this is a vibe.
There we go.
This is a vibe.
There we go. I saw Cam Newton smoking his cigars. I don't think he the only one doing this, Cam. We got you, brother.
Look, Cam, we see you, man. We see you. We definitely see you. So, man, Vegas is popping out here.
It's going down in Vegas, man. There's so much going on this weekend. The mid-season tournament started on Thursday for the finals, the semifinals.
Man,
what you think about this? What you got going on? Man?
You already know how I feel. The Bucks lost.
You in your feelings right now?
I'm a little tight.
Shout out to Tyrese Halliburton, man.
He from Wisconsin though, so shout out to Tyrese.
Yes, sir.
He's still representing for the hometown, but I'm tight. The Bucks lost.
Yeah, I'm born in Indy, so I'm a partial Pacers fan.
So it's a little rival here.
Yeah, we had to come step it up.
Yeah, it's a little rival.
My young boy Tyrese Halliburton.
He was cooking.
He put Dame. Man, how you gonna take Dame shot?
Man, look. First of all, they didn't even give Giannis the ball in the last 5 minutes.
Hell no.
Giannis or Dame didn't have the ball.
Giannis or Dame.
I don't know what they
had
thinking.
The ball boys shoot. First of all, let me say something to the coach, Adrian Griffin. Who the hell is in this lineup?
Middleton, y'all point guard, bro.
Look,
I was entertained the last whole fourth quarter.
You know how I feel about Middleton.
You was itching over there.
Look, Middleton.
Yes,
he got paid.
Yeah, he definitely did.
He. Now I'm not gonna sit here and talk like I'm a hooper because I'm not.
Right.
But can we get the ball out of his hands in crunch time?
Middleton needs one on vacation. As soon as he got that payday,
they went fishing during the tournaments.
Man, they went on vacation. They went fishing. They went to Cabo. They relaxed, man.
No, they were still in Vegas.
No, they must have been at the Wynn or something right now because they was not at that game, bro.
They was not at the game.
But hold on, no, don't give it. I ain't gonna take too much from Middleton though because he was making shots.
He was making shots, but he had like 4 turnovers in crucial moments of the game.
Yeah. He moves worse than Brook Lopez.
Oh my gosh.
Pick and roll, bro.
Look, he has no lateral movement.
Nah. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but I mean, the Pacers pulled it out. I would say let's let's figure it out. It's going to be a good game tonight. And they played against the Los Angeles Lakers. They played against the Pelicans the other night.
It's going to be a good game.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good game.
LeBron came with it. Man, LeBron has been looking amazing at 38.
Man, look, I don't care what anybody has to say about LeBron. He is one of the greatest athletes of all time.
I'm going to say this, man. LeBron is one of the probably, he's an entrepreneur.
Definitely an entrepreneur.
He's philanthropic. He has a school. He gives back, man. I give LeBron his kudos.
I give him a lot of credit, man.
I just wish he would have just did his whole career in Cleveland. But, I mean, that's a biased opinion.
Look, get your money, LeBron.
Keep cooking, LeBron.
Get your paper.
Doing it right, man. Doing it right.
And put the teams on notice.
Yes.
You run the league.
But put the NBA on notice. It doesn't have to get younger, man. If you still viable in the NBA and you're a veteran and you can still play, I mean, some of these young boys out here just looking bad, man.
Bro, the NBA don't even look. I can't name 5 players on most teams.
Right. I mean, I'm gonna name one, and he eats good.
Who's that?
Zion Williamson.
Yo, was that him or was that a clone of Zion?
Nah, he looked like Booger Williamson out there.
Message.
Booger McFarland, that's his name.
Hey,
not even Booger. He looked like Booger McFarland on the basketball
He
court.
found out that the buffets in Vegas is different. Ain't no beignets out here, Zion.
Hey man, like Zion really needs to hire like a specialist instead of a cook and a.
That wasn't him.
No.
I'm convinced that was Professor Clump.
My goodness, man. Like, come on, Zion. I used to be a hooper, man, but I mean, you got to be in shape and be capable of leading your team. These people are paying millions of dollars, man.
Man.
And we want to see the Zion Williamson show.
Yeah, because you see how much them tickets were?
Yeah.
It's like I didn't pay to see Zion's
stunt
double.
Vegas, we about to get an NBA team here.
We definitely getting a team.
But also, you know what we just did, though? We opened up a new hotel in Las Vegas.
Ooh, Durango Station.
That's where we watched the game at.
We watched the game, and it's on the side of town. We don't even got to go to the strip anymore.
It's for the locals, man, and they really did a good job in that place. They did. Man.
So shout out to Durango Station.
Definitely.
And they showed us love. We was in the VIP section of the sports book, and shout out to Bert. He kicked everybody out except us.
Yeah, that's what the CEOs do, man. We get a couple of little privileges.
We get a couple.
So shout out to Bert, man. Bert took care of us, man, over at Durango. He is one of our VIP hosts, and we were sitting there. We got the high definition screens, the new restaurants over there at George's. We haven't had a conversation about that pizza over at George's though.
Oh man, it tasted like saltine crackers with sauce on top.
Hell no.
Yeah, it was very dietitian-y. I don't even know if that's a real word.
It was light on calories. Maybe we need to send that to Zion.
Maybe
the calories was it definitely was low in calories.
Yeah, it was definitely low in calories. We was eating air in that joint with some chicken and cheese. I would say that. So man, like, how you been feeling though, man? Everything good?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm good. We wrapping up a good week.
Mm-hmm.
And I also heard over at Durango Station, Mark Wahlberg was over there debuting his new tequila.
Yeah, let's name it. The name of his new tequila is,
because you know I'm a tequila drinker.
Fletcher Azul Tequila.
Fletcher Azul.
Man, that is a new joint. We got to go over there and test it out. Mark Wahlberg, he's a Vegas local now. Definitely. He moved his whole family out here. He's embedded. He's bringing Hollywood to Las Vegas as well. And so shout out to Mark Wahlberg, man. He was over there with Machine Gun Kelly, and they had a good time. Jazzy Jeff was over there, too.
Jazzy Jeff, he debuted Bel-Air Lounge.
Yes, he was DJing. They did a great job.
Definitely, man. Great opening. I also heard they were giving out credits for people. So I'm pretty sure it's going to die off soon because people are about to lose all their money.
The place was crowded.
It was crowded.
It was packed. It was a good time. It was good vibes, good energy. We got to go check out some more of those other restaurants in there to see if we can get some better foods. They got a hidden speakeasy over there. So like, man, it's a vibe living in Vegas. I would say that.
Man, look, it's you don't know what's so crazy? When I go out of town, I'm ready to come back to Vegas.
I totally agree.
Because there's more stuff to do here. Like, I can go to Miami. Yes. After about 2-3 days, I'm ready to come home.
Yes. I mean, I'm not a humidity guy. I like dry heat. But when I go to Miami, it's just not it anymore. I think when I was in my 20s, when I used to go to Miami and frequent Miami,
right,
it was more of a vibe then. But, like, the thrill is gone for me.
I can definitely see that. Because, I mean, once you've gone and You've done the strip clubs, the boats, the like all of the
Shout out
partying.
to Tootsie's though.
Shout out to Tootsie's. But Vegas is just such a vibe because it's always something going on here.
Yeah, definitely.
Always
something going on. We got the residency for Bruno Mars coming up. So I mean, it's New Year's is gonna be popping out here. So anybody want to celebrate their birthday, come out to Vegas.
Come to Vegas.
Yes.
So speaking of Durango Station or just the casinos and people losing their money, I read an article that you actually sent me.
Yeah.
Wall Street Journal. And it said who got richer and who didn't during the pandemic. And it actually talked about and broke down the net worth of each class from an ethnic background, and blacks decreased in the tens of thousands.
Message.
It's very disappointing. I think we spend more money on clothes, cars, and vacationing than we did on investing.
Hell no.
I have a good friend who works at Neiman Marcus. And he was telling me that he actually wanted to take off work during the pandemic because this article talks about the wealth gap from 2019 to 2021. And while he was working, because, everybody was getting stimmies and PPPs and
loans.
EDIL loans, he said he wanted to take off work because black people came in there just throwing money down, buying shit that they ain't never owned before.
For what? Who are they trying to impress?
First of all, you couldn't go nowhere.
Couldn't go nowhere, so you dressing just to go outside on your porch.
So they bought all of the man purses to stay at home.
Yeah. I mean, they were walking outside, walking to the store. They was fly at the store, though. I know Target made a mint off those people, man.
Man, it's sad. Let me read a couple of these stats.
Okay.
It blew me away when they broke down the net worth. It said between 2019 and 2021, the median household net worth increased 30% to $166,900, according to new report.
Right.
The wealth of white and Asian households increased the most. For many Black and Hispanics, the boost wasn't enough to lift them fully out of debt. These families are likely under greater strain that many of the factors boosted wealth during the pandemic have reversed. So the stimulus check stopped, the forbearances stopped, the student loan forbearance, the people didn't have to pay mortgages, people didn't have to pay rent, people didn't have to pay car notes. And so now that all of that has reversed, there's no stimulus checks. And during that time, it was a period where a lot of people made a lot of money, but our net worth went backwards. Let me give you some of these numbers.
We did not invest.
Nothing. Asian households held most wealth overall. Their net worth grew 43% to $320,900 in 2021. White households posted 23% increase to $250,400.
Wow.
Hispanics household net worth of $48,700. And guess what the blacks' net worth was?
I don't even want to guess.
27,000.
Come on.
Hell no.
Come on, man.
But here's the thing that I often see. We have cars in the Black community that people have paid more for than their net worth.
Message.
We have hairdos. So those women was going out getting those packs and bundles. That's probably where the Asian net worth went up at, bro.
Look, I'm trying to keep this podcast going for a couple more months.
I'm sorry. But I'm telling you.
But these are real stats.
Nails, pack bundles with the hair.
You got a point.
Like, we got to understand, like, this, we're not investing in the right thing.
We have to learn how to invest.
Man, so we got to be more studious with our money. We got to be more entrepreneurial minded. So, I mean, that's kind of like a good topic for today, bro.
Well, let's talk about that, because even outside of investing, when you think about entrepreneurship, because during that period, everyone became an entrepreneur.
That's true.
Here's the irony. I jumped into entrepreneurship in 2003. People couldn't even spell entrepreneur back then.
Right. I jumped in about 2005.
And during that period of the pandemic, we had more people become entrepreneurs, but our net worth went backwards.
Correct.
So I'm assuming there's probably a lot of pitfalls that we don't think about. I even wrote a book called Full-Time CEO, the shit they don't tell you, because nobody talks about the unglamorized side of entrepreneurship.
There are a lot of obstacles when it comes to
There are a lot of obstacles.
Yes. Let's talk about a few of those. What do you think? What topic do you want to start out
Well,
with?
first of all, people think entrepreneurship is just getting an LLC.
That's far from it. One of the biggest pitfalls, and a lot of people don't talk about, especially, I don't think we even touch on this enough, it's taxes. Taxes is a big and a major topic that we need to start really touching on a little bit more when it comes to entrepreneurship, because a lot of people, when you become an entrepreneur, you may be getting 1099s, you may be doing cash transactions, or you may be getting transactions where you don't have to pay any taxes on it, but you do have to pay taxes on every single dollar, and it has to be accounted for when it comes into your business.
Because there's really not a class. I'm not even gonna say there's not a class on entrepreneurship. We really need a life skills class.
100%.
Because even outside of taxes, and we can come back to that, we're not being taught business etiquette.
Correct.
People aren't. I mean, I'm seeing entrepreneurs where they're, because social media is a big part of entrepreneurship.
Definitely is.
And people name on social media is like big body billionaire.
A little blood.
Like, these are their candles.
Yeah.
But then they're saying that they're running businesses.
I mean, you got to understand, man, people really need to have some little polish when it comes to it. But also that comes with having a good mentor.
Definitely.
A good life coach, or a good also entrepreneurial coach or business coach. And a lot of people don't have that when it comes to when they're starting a business.
Right.
They get in, they see an opportunity, or somebody may have convinced them of an opportunity that they may have, and they have a certain skill set that pushes them to go in that entrepreneurial direction. And what happens? They just get the LLC, and then they just maybe go get a business bank account, or somebody may tell them about a play, not a strategy, but a play to go get some funding. And then what? They end up underwater.
Well, that I call that the entrepreneurship starter kit.
Yeah.
You get your LLC.
Yeah.
You get a chain. You get a couple outfits.
You get a car.
No, you rent a car.
Rent a car. No,
and then you get a videographer.
I mean, they go get a high interest rate or a high car note. They're paying $1,500 for the car note, more than they rent, more than some of they.
We got to do better.
Definitely got to do better.
We got to do better, because going back to the taxes component, most entrepreneurs think if they make $100, that's $100 profit.
No, it's not.
Message.
And it's not.
You have brackets when it comes to taxes.
You have brackets. First of all, get a tax specialist.
100%.
Why is it that as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, why are you still going to H&R Block?
Because
why are you still going to Jackson Hewitt?
Because the fees are low.
That's probably one.
Or they go online and they don't know anything about taxes, and they file the taxes themselves.
TurboTax. And they think they should still get a tax refund.
Mm-hmm. That's what everybody's looking for when they become an entrepreneur. I mean, everybody who's like, tax time on that. I haven't gotten a refund since probably 2005, bro.
Look, it's interesting because we go into business with the same habits as a consumer or as an employee.
It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't. And speaking of taxes, one of my very first business ventures as an entrepreneur, one of my first big investments, I actually invested in a tax franchise. 2013.
Man, I know a little bit about that. I know a little bit about behind the scenes about that.
Look, it's interesting in even how full circle, how we came together, how we met, because we've ran in the circle probably for the past 15 years and didn't even know it. We would cross paths in airports.
Didn't even know it. I'm gonna tell this. Being a guru in the credit space, I learned a lot from you.
Thank you, man.
You fixed my credit back when I messed it up. And then now, I mean, there was a point in time where you had to fix it again because I didn't have a coach, I didn't have a mentor, and I had to go through some of those pitfalls and obstacles, and it came. So back in maybe around 2007, I started a real estate company.
Okay.
I had some older guys that were savvy in the real estate game, but they enticed me to get into it. I was a financial advisor at the time, and I was trying to figure out other multiple ways of streams of income. They were saying, hey, you got to have multiple streams. So I got into the real estate game, and one of my coaches, he helped me get 10 properties, rental properties.
Okay.
Unbeknownst to me, everybody at that point in time was talking about, do a cash out on the closing. So I was getting maybe 20, 30 thousand when it came to closing out on those properties.
So basically, what you're saying is you were getting money after you bought the property.
I was getting money after I bought the property. The properties had good equity in them. I bought them at a low price point, and I was taking out 20, maybe to 50K, and putting it in my bank account. And then I turned those properties into rental properties. Around that time as well, I did a little bit of flipping as well, and I had probably a $1.2 million line of credit. And I didn't even know that my net worth was over $1 million.
Well, let's make sure we don't glaze over that. You had a $1.2 million line of credit.
Yes.
And we got people out here still chasing that $10,000. Money was different back then.
Money was very different. I'm gonna tell you this: I started an LLC without even having to put my social security number down as being a backer back in those times. That's how times was different.
It was different.
Yes.
And see, what I found is people are still trying to operate off of those old strategies.
Yes.
You know, so what eventually ended up happening with your real estate business?
So as everybody knows, we had a great recession in 2008.
Correct.
There was those mortgage-backed loans.
Okay.
I forgot what it was called, but the whole marketplace crashed, and I crashed right along with it because I was taking trips to Miami. That's when I first started coming out to Las Vegas, and
so your net worth went backwards too.
Oh, I definitely went backwards. I definitely went backwards, but luckily my LLC was not under my social security number, so I did not have to file bankruptcy. I bankrupted the company.
There you go.
But I sustained my lifestyle because I continued to be a financial advisor. I did very well, but at the same time, I was not a good student. I wasn't even practicing what I was preaching when it comes to being a financial advisor.
So let me ask you this: why do you think you failed at that venture?
My coaches weren't good.
Okay.
For one, so I'm a person that's big on accountability. So I take accountability for the path that I took and the things that I did, because I was spending money frivolously. I had a few cars. I was traveling. I was doing things for the family, but at the same time, I wasn't a good steward over my money.
Okay. So I was in a similar scenario. It was after the pandemic. Like I mentioned, I invested into a tax franchise.
Yeah.
And I did it solely for the money.
Correct.
Like how you got the lifestyle marketing right now on social media.
Correct.
That's one of the reasons I invested in that tax business. The franchise owner, he pulled up in the Maserati.
Universal tax.
He had the Hummer.
Yeah, he did.
He had he had a couple cars.
Okay, a little bit of background with this Universal tax company that Will invested in, but I didn't even know he was investing in. The guy that was sold him the company, he was a good friend of mine. And he had me working for his tax company, but I stopped working for it. But I did not know he was selling this to Will.
Yeah.
So it's funny how things come full circle. And we were sitting around one day and we were just talking, and Will was telling me about the tag, and he was just like, the guy's name, I don't want to say it, but you can.
I mean, it rhymes with King.
And the last name rhymes with Umar. So, unbeknownst to me, I mean, he was still a good friend of mine. I was there with his kids and everything else like that. And he brought the deal to me of trying to find a buyer for his tax company.
Right.
And I didn't know it, but the person that we brought it to evaluate the company basically said it was a scam.
It was. And so leading into, him showing me his lifestyle, he told me nothing about the business first.
Correct.
He just was saying, hey, this is my cars I have. These are the homes I own, et cetera, et cetera. And me being bright-eyed entrepreneur, that's what I bought into.
He was a fast talker.
So I invested solely just because I wanted his lifestyle.
Correct.
I knew nothing about taxes.
Correct.
And so I basically, I was working a 9-to-5 at the time. I was making, about $103,000 working at yellowpages.com, liquidated my 401k, took out some personal loans, and I invested in a franchise. I had a 3,000 square foot building. Had to do a complete build out of that building.
Yes.
I had to hire staff. I had 32 tax preparers. Wow. I had to pay for marketing. It was a bunch of things I had to pay for, and come to find out that was not. He was teaching us to commit fraud.
Definitely was.
When the way we filed taxes.
Definitely was.
Let me tell you how clever he was.
Okay.
So whenever you rent a building or lease a building, there's something called a tenant improvement allowance.
Correct.
Where you can negotiate with the landlord to have them cover the cost of the build out. because what we did is we took 2 suites that were back to back, and we knocked down the wall and made it one full office, because we were looking to, at least I thought we were going to do some major things in the tax space. So now the in order for him to do that tenant improvement allowance, he wanted me to increase my lease from 3 years to 5, because that's how he would be able to recoup his costs.
Correct.
And so what he did, so he gave me a budget of 24,000, and I gave it to King. And this is King went and created a fake construction company, went out and hired a handyman, had the handyman do the build out for a fraction of the cost, and he kept the rest.
No way.
Hell no.
And guess who had to pay that back?
You did, of course.
I had to pay that back.
Wow. I mean, I'm gonna say this one thing. Granted, he was a fraud, but this guy had some good.
He was clever than the
he was a visionary about some stuff.
He was a visionary in the wrong sense.
In the wrong sense, and he didn't have anybody teaching him anything either. So he was getting over with scams and everything else like that. And I mean, I knew him personally, but I didn't dive deep into his businesses.
Right.
I saw the fruits of his labors, but at the same time, I didn't dive deep into his businesses to understand the dynamics. I just understood when I first started working with him on the tax side, he brought me in as an overseer of the tax offices.
Okay.
And I realized after probably about 2 weeks, I wasn't getting paid. So after 2 weeks, when I didn't get paid, I said, no, I'm cool. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to go continue to do it.
Would he let you drive his cars?
Nah, I had my own car at the time.
He didn't ignite you and just
No. I had my own whip. I had a nice little 7 Series, man. I was cool. So, I mean, we pulled I used to be out front of his tax offices with the cars. We looked like it was a car show out front of the tax offices.
He had a couple.
The aesthetics was good. The furniture in the office was good. He had everything going on, man. And it looked good from the outside looking in, but I did not know he was committing fraud.
He was committing a straight fraud. And so, and because of that, after the and this is actually how he ended up getting caught. So once I called him out on like, hey, this is not a real tax business. And it was like 3 of us franchise owners. And, ironically, we were 3 young black men who were enamored by the lifestyle.
Correct.
And so we didn't make any money. And when I called him out on it, because I don't know everything that happened with the other owners, he actually shut down everything and said I was in breach of contract, and then he sued me civilly. And so
that's lack of accountability.
Here I am. I quit my job. The tax business didn't make any money. He actually shut me down like mid-tax season.
Wow.
And then he sued me civilly. And when you get sued, whether you're guilty or innocent, you still got to fight the case.
Yeah. You got to pay the lawyer fees.
You got to pay the lawyer fees.
And everything else like that. But
so I lost everything.
The man is no longer with us. He's in jail.
He's definitely serving 40 years.
So, I mean, everything worked out. But at the same time, you learned a valuable lesson. Let's say it from that standpoint.
I learned a lesson that in business,
do your due diligence.
In entrepreneurship, not only your due diligence, but you're going to go through shit.
Yes, you are.
And that's what I want to talk about here today, because a lot of people get into entrepreneurship thinking that you're not going to go through nothing.
Yes.
There's pitfalls, there's obstacles, and that's why I wrote my book. But here's the one thing that I often tell people, Curtis. If I had not have failed in that space, I wouldn't be here today.
Definitely wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here today.
Message.
Because I would still be at the tax office trying to make some money.
And a lot of successful entrepreneurs have even told a story of how many times they failed to get to that one win. And all it takes is one.
Well, not only does it take one, I think another issue with a lot of entrepreneurs is they're trying to do too many things.
100%.
I remember watching a video, an interview with Dale Earnhardt Jr., the race car driver. And the woman who was interviewing him was like, man, you have all of these things. You got the sponsorships and you're making money in this space, and you got bars and other whatever he had owned. And she said, how do you do all of those things? And she said, he stopped her. He said, look, I don't do all of those things.
Correct.
I did one thing, and I did it very well.
Very well.
And that was I learned how to go around that track.
Correct.
And become the best.
Yes.
And when you learn to be very good at one thing, other opportunities come to you, and then you attach to those opportunities.
Correct.
See, what ends up happening is you have a lot of entrepreneurs who want to do everything and they haven't even mastered one thing.
Because we're getting inundated with so much information and so many opportunities that people see. Just like probably going back to the Wall Street Journal article, during the pandemic, trucking became popular.
Literally.
E-commerce became popular. Real estate became popular. PPP loans became popular.
Credit repair became popular.
Credit repair became popular. What's the auto
Turo
became very popular. Everybody wanted to have 4 or 5 cars to put out on the marketplace as a rental.
Luxuries.
Oh, Airbnbs became very popular. And I had to go through a time where I had 7 Airbnbs here in Las Vegas. That's what moved me to Las Vegas. Those Airbnbs were very successful. But the only thing about it, Las Vegas changed their laws when it came to dealing with Airbnbs in that marketplace. And right now, there are a lot of Airbnb owners that are trying to fight Las Vegas in regards to allowing more Airbnbs in the city of Las Vegas.
Well, that's because I think a lot of the times people go into things thinking, I'm going to make a lot of money.
Correct.
They don't do their due diligence. They don't look at the upside.
Yeah.
They don't learn how to hedge the opportunity. They don't even look at how am I going to cover my cash flow gaps during the ebbs and flows of business. They're not filing their taxes properly. They're not having mentorship. They're not having business etiquette. And so you do all of these things. But then when you get into one hustle, and then when you see that that's not working, and then because you're not putting all of your attention on that one thing, then you go and jump into to something else, and now you're trying to do 2 things at once.
Correct.
When you even haven't mastered the first one.
You haven't. Yes.
So when it comes to entrepreneurship, I think that people think that it's some magical industry that automatically guarantees you success.
It does.
Like people say, hey, or when I'm speaking with people, I'm like, why do you want to start this business? Or what's your goal? Well, I want to become an entrepreneur so I can have time freedom. Entrepreneurship doesn't give you time freedom.
You actually work longer, more hours, and you probably lose more time with your family becoming an entrepreneur than you think you do.
And it's less money in the beginning.
Definitely is. You're gonna be in the red
for a very long time.
Message.
So you got to understand, a lot of people quit their jobs when it comes to entrepreneurship too.
People was quitting their jobs when they went and bought 2 cars and put them on Turo.
Yes, they did. People quit their jobs when they got their first real estate property, when they got their first Airbnb, when they started their e-commerce business.
People quit when they set up an LLC.
Hell no.
People literally went out and got an LLC, went and got a luxury vehicle because they thought they can write it off under Section 179.
Right.
And then they quit their jobs. Like no clients,
no benefit,
no insurance. Like they didn't have anything from a foundational standpoint.
Correct.
Like it reminds me of a story. I remember once, this was like 2000 and maybe like 17. And I had a volunteer who came to my office to come and help me with some things. We were doing, I think maybe like a photo shoot or something. And he was like, Will, man, you inspire me. My wife and I just moved here from Texas and we're going to start a credit repair company.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, okay, man, that's great. He was like, and so what we did was we just moved here like 2-3 weeks ago and we just went and signed a lease on an office space.
Wow.
And I said, why the hell you go get an office and you don't have a client?
What was their answer?
Message.
He couldn't answer it. He signed a 3-year lease
for a credit repair company,
just to have for an office.
Could have worked out of your home for the beginning.
Thinking he's gonna do credit repair. No clients, no website. And so I told him, I was like, do you know that when I first started in the credit repair space in 2008, I worked out of a day office. Meaning I would, whenever I had a client I would meet, I would go to the executive suites on Eastern and I would pay by the hour. So if I had to meet with you at 4 p.m., I would rent the office at 4 p.m. and it cost me $15. You didn't even know, you wouldn't have even known the difference.
But that's a good thing about you being a savvy business person, because you needed that office space for your company.
Well, Yes,
but it
and
also
no.
helped the professionalism of the aesthetics of it, though.
Well, yes and no, but the point of that is that I didn't go and waste money on renting an office space.
100%. You only need it as an as-need basis.
Only needed and I couldn't even afford an actual office suite.
Mm-hmm.
And so people look at the aesthetics of business thinking that's going to get them business.
Correct.
And that's not always the case.
No. You got to keep your overhead low when you first start off, and your expenses low.
But nobody's teaching people this.
No, they're not. We are, though.
We definitely are.
Management does.
We definitely do. Do you know I had a program called the Full-Time CEO course.
Correct.
Which is still available, but I don't promote it much because people wasn't really, interested in learning how to become an entrepreneur. They just wanted to hurry up and get an LLC, go get some money, go buy a car and take pictures and go to conferences.
And say they're entrepreneurs.
Say they're an entrepreneur.
Hand out their business card, say this is my business. I'm a CEO.
You know, back in the day when I first moved to Vegas, when I would go to the clubs, I would front like I was this big time businessman just by giving people my business card.
I was the key thing. I wanted to be a businessman. And so what I do, I threw on a suit.
I used to go out in a suit too.
And I passed out my business cards.
And then I was going home sleeping on the floor.
But you had a vision.
I definitely had a vision.
And you came to Las Vegas with $500 in your pocket. Was it 500?
Man, 500. That I borrowed.
Yes, and your mentor allowed you.
Shout out to John Malott.
Yeah, your mentor gave you a vision and you pursued it.
Well, not only did he give me the vision, the one thing that I learned that I often say that gave me an unfair advantage in entrepreneurship is I learned personal development first.
Correct.
I became who I needed to be who I am today first.
So after you went through all those little struggles, how long did it start for your business to become successful?
I didn't make any money for at least 7 years.
7 years. And most businesses fail within the first, 3 to 5?
First 1 to 3.
1 to 3. Okay. So from that standpoint, you already had one failed business with the tax company.
Correct.
And you started off doing other ventures. What was the next venture that you did?
So I got into the tax space and then I actually had to go back to work. I started working at Sprint. But I did outside sales. And the reason I took that job is because it allowed me the ability to not be tied to an office. We can work in the field. And while I was in the field, I would take clients in between in the credit space. And so from there, I put all of my attention on this credit business.
Correct.
And it took a few years before I actually started making money. But I said, you know what? I'm not deviating off of this path.
Right.
But during those time periods, even before the tax business, I wasn't scared to work. Because I think another problem in this world of entrepreneurship is people think money is going to magically appear, or they get credit and try to live off of the credit while the business isn't making any money. See, I did everything.
The business, you had to put money and put energy back into the business.
You have to be able to pay for the implementation.
Correct. So from that standpoint, you have to the business in the beginning is not going to sustain your at-home lifestyle
at all.
So if you pour back into the business will eventually take you to the point for where you're going to be a successful entrepreneur if you're doing the right things. So if you're not pouring back into that business, you have to have another means of income that sustain your lifestyle at home.
Well, that's because a lot of people now think that the credit is the income.
And that's far from true.
And that's far from true. The credit is the capital you use to actually invest to make you the money.
The working capital.
But what ends up happening is that people have this illusion that all of their friends and family and relatives are just going to spend all of this money with them. First of all, you're not going to make a lot of money selling solely to the people that know you. Matter of fact, most of them not going to buy.
I first started off as when I came back from playing overseas, I was a financial advisor.
Okay.
It's kind of like an entrepreneurship because I had to go out and source my own clients and everything else like that. Got my life license, became a real financial advisor, securities license and everything else like that. So from that standpoint, I had to pour back in, but I was not successful in that for another maybe 2 years because I had to pour back into my business. It was a commission-based business and I had to pour back into it. So the first few years, I was not making a lot of money myself.
And so, but there was a cost for you to be in that business, though.
Definitely, it was a bunch of upfront costs.
And so,
classes, licensing, everything else like that.
And that's the thing that a lot of people don't think about, is that they think, hey, I'll join this business opportunity or I'll pay for this mentorship. But even when you pay for that, you still need money for implementation.
Definitely.
So let's say, and this is what I often tell a lot of my clients. If you come to me and you want me to coach you to grow your business, and let's say you have a e-commerce business.
Correct.
Okay. My job is to not teach you how to be a good e-commerce person. My job is to help you to be a business person.
Correct.
Teaching you the baseline of running a business.
The foundations.
Now, it's going to cost you because you need to purchase inventory. And so now I can tell you everything from A to Z, but if you don't have any money for the inventory, you will not make money in e-commerce.
So when you start off in e-commerce, you have to have some type of capital to purchase your products.
Well, not only that, people got to know you exist.
Correct.
So you got to pay for marketing.
Message.
So could you imagine spending your last dollar just getting into an opportunity and nobody is teaching you implementation, and you don't have the money for the implementation, and you're not working? You quit your job.
Right.
Because some e-commerce guru said you can make $500,000 a month.
But also those e-commerce gurus, I made a little bit of money, started paying for marketing, and making the whole e-commerce platform look very sweet.
Very sweet.
Like it's an overnight success.
So they had to pay for the implementation.
Correct. They pay for the marketing.
They pay for the marketing.
But they don't tell everybody that they're paying for marketing behind the scenes.
And this is one of the traps. This is another pitfall of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
So you get people who join who don't realize that it's a process. You get people who join who don't know that it's going to cost you to implement. You get people who join who think their friends and family are going to support them. I have a rule. I don't sell to my friends and family.
So let me ask you this. When you first start off, are you an employee or you're a business owner of your own company?
You're an employee. 1,000%. You buy a job.
So people quit their jobs
to buy a job. Basically. Even if you buy a franchise,
yes,
you bought a job.
And you're going to be in there buying a Papa John's pizza company.
You're throwing the dough in the air.
You're throwing the dough, sweeping the floors. You got to pay the light bill.
You got all of that.
Equipment.
You may not even have enough to pay employees, so you're there.
Oh, let's take it back to the Turo business. What are some of the upfront costs in the Turo business?
Some of the costs people don't even think about. First of all, the maintenance of the vehicles. I mean, when people was going out buying all of these luxury vehicles, I remember everybody wanted to get Mercedes, everybody wanted to get G-Wagons. I mean, a brake job on a high-end Mercedes is $4,000.
Man, an oil change on a BMW 7 Series when I had it. Oh my God.
$400 or $500.
$400 or $500 easily. And then you buy a warranty, you think it's going to be even cheaper.
It's not.
It's not at all.
I had to replace the tires on my GT and my wagon. $2,600 each car.
Hell no.
I had my windshield cracked. Little bitty pebble hit the corner of the passenger side of the windshield of my wagon. $4,700.
They don't understand.
So when people are getting into these spaces and they're not doing their due diligence, they're not even looking at the maintenance costs, not only just in Turo, but of your business.
Correct.
You got to put good gas in your cars if you want the cars to run properly.
Premium. Nah, you can't go to the gas station, put that regular in there.
No.
Message.
Your joint gonna start knocking.
Message.
And so these are the costs. And I mean, at one point, I think I had like 12, 13 cars in different cities accumulatively. And I got out at a time when the dealerships were overpaying for vehicles. So I sold everything.
But also you had an opportunity to learn the business and be able to also figure out this business strategy work for you.
Well, see, here's the thing: a lot of people don't know. I was doing Turo in 2017.
Yeah, you were one of the gurus. You had the online course too before everybody else.
I was doing Turo in 2017, but I built mine off of smart cars.
Yeah. Not the Benzes.
No, I didn't start with luxury because the average person is going to rent an economy based vehicle.
The Camrys, the Malibus.
Yeah, the Honda Accords,
Yes.
the Accents. Like, people want something that is efficient.
Mm-hmm.
But what was happening is that we were buying vehicles with the hopes of, hey, come learn how to drive your dream car for free.
Right, right.
Again, another pitfall, because we were chasing the imagery or the mirage of what we think entrepreneurship or success looks like.
I've seen some of the horror stories, and I never got into that business, but I've seen some of the horror stories. Man, people's cars getting wrecked.
Oh yeah, they will tear up your car.
Not being able to locate your car.
They will steal your car.
They'll smoke it up. They'll do all type of stuff. They'll steal your car.
And Toro don't always cover all of those issues, or you're gonna have to. I mean, there were so many claims, they just stopped taking claims from people.
A story like that for the Airbnb business. I pulled up one day at one of my properties. All the furniture was gone in the house.
Hell no!
How does somebody have time to remove furniture?
They rented my space on Airbnb. Luckily, Airbnb I filed an insurance claim. They reimbursed me for everything. But literally, everything in the house was gone.
And that's still a hassle.
Because they did not even, when I was, I check in with people on the phone. I can message them and everything else like that. Say, hey, I need you to do the X, Y, and Z. When you leave, clean, throw the trash out, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't get any response. So I went over to the house. I literally walked in there looking like Will Smith when I was sitting around with my hands on my hip. And I'm looking around like, they legit took the bed.
Wow.
The pull-out couch, the flat screens, the dishes.
So that means came there with an Allen wrench and a tool set.
No, they came in there and they got busy, dog. For 2 days. They rented my spot for 4. For 2 days, they got busy. They had to pull the truck up too.
Wow.
And I guess, I don't know what people, I had a condo association. Nobody said anything to me.
Wow. I never got into Airbnb.
I liked it when I had to, though.
I mean, I know business. A lot of people made a lot of money in that space, but I'm going to tell you why I never got into it.
Mm-hmm.
When I looked at the landscape of owning assets,
correct,
the strategy that was being taught in Airbnb was the arbitrage.
I didn't do the arbitrage.
Right.
Right.
And so that's one of the reasons I didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I never looked at it from the purchasing standpoint and then Airbnb.
Yeah.
I was only introduced to it from the arbitrage standpoint. I'm like, okay, if I'm basically doing a sandwich lease or subleasing to Airbnb, what happens if the owner or the association changed their mind?
I think you have a contract on arbitrage. I'm not 100% sure because I never did arbitrage. I basically purchased 1 to 2 bedroom condo units, and I owned the real estate.
Okay.
So I had the notes and everything else like that. But the expensive of that is I had notes on every one of my properties. I had to pay the insurance. I had to pay the taxes. I had to do all of that stuff. And I factored some of that stuff into basically the leases of my of me when I rented it, or the market driven place of what my nightly rents were. So from that standpoint, I had to compete with the hotels out here in Vegas.
That's another point. It's like with the Airbnb, one of the other things that I looked at is that your money is only made based off of discretionary income.
Correct.
So if people don't have extra money, they're not renting your units.
They love Airbnbs out here in Vegas, though.
They do, because this is one of the most visited destinations in the world.
And mine basically became corporate rentals. I was working with traveling nurses. I was working with company. I had a few companies that basically came to me on a regular basis and saying, hey, we have an employee that's doing a contract out here in Las Vegas and we need them a place for him to stay. So I had some of those good contracts because I was kind of in the forefront of the Airbnb business, kind of like you were with Turo.
Right. So outside of the hotels changing the laws, what was the backlash to that? How did you lose the properties? What ended up happening?
I ended up selling the properties. I sold them at a discount though. So I sold them at a discounted rate because I had fines from the city of Las Vegas in the amount of probably about $60,000.
Wow.
Though it was one from an HOA and one when I didn't listen, because I was at the same time, they were like, okay, we're going to fine you for doing Airbnbs based on we're not legal in this city anymore. We changed the laws. And he's like, hey, I'm whatever.
Right.
You're not gonna do anything to me. And unbeknownst to me, I got another, $20,000 fine. So and an amount of 20,000. So I panicked. I didn't have any good stewardship. If I had maybe a good mentor to say, hey, transition in this, work on this and pay this fine by using this strategy, it probably would have helped me in that capacity. And I would have had those assets still to this day.
Right. And so just me thinking how I think as an entrepreneur, first thing I would have did, I would just did long-term rentals.
And that's what I should have, hindsight, that would have been my next strategy.
But you handled it emotionally.
I handled it. My emotion got to me. I had to go to court and all this other stuff, and a $60,000 fine on top of court fees and everything else like that. I had to figure out an exit strategy.
Right.
And my exit strategy was to sell off the properties, which I'm selling off assets.
So one of the things that I often notice why a lot of people in business or who are attempting to go into business, they don't succeed because of that emotion.
Mm-hmm.
They'll hit an obstacle, they'll get a no, they'll get some, because people automatically assume it's just gonna go linear.
It's gonna be peachy.
You're gonna take 3 steps forward, 15 back.
Yes.
You're gonna take 12 steps forward and 47 back.
Yes.
But here's something that I learned though, Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes that step backwards is preventing you from hitting an even larger landmine.
Mm-hmm.
See, if I'm walking into a danger zone,
correct,
I would rather have my foot cut than blown up.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes those steps back is stopping us from walking into the landmine.
Right.
So when I think about all of the losses or the experiences or the failed experience, that I've went through, it always put me in a position to where it could have gotten worse.
Definitely.
Now I'll give you a few examples.
Mm-hmm.
With the tax space, if I hadn't have taken those steps back, could you imagine if I was a co-conspirator with King, and when he got wrapped up in that federal case, and I was a partner of this tax franchise, if it hadn't have went bad, I could have been implicated.
Honestly, I could have been implicated too, because he brought me on as a leadership position at that same tax company.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because he was using false tax numbers to file the tax return.
He wouldn't even put his name on the document.
No, he was using other tax preparers that he would hire on, get them tax numbers, identification numbers,
and then use them.
Tax preparer identification numbers, and he would use them under his own name.
He was taking advantage of people.
He was having tax returns sent to his personal bank account.
For people who don't know what that means, so when you go and you file your taxes and you get your refund check, you get your refund check sent to you.
Correct.
But what he was doing was he was having the refund checks come to his bank, and then you would have to pay him an additional fee on top of the fee he took from the tax return in order to get your tax refund. So he held your tax refund hostage.
Hell no.
Yes, he did.
He was cold.
Cold game, man.
But what I learned, and it took me to become, emotionally intelligent and emotionally stable as an entrepreneur, to learn that sometimes you have to go through those obstacles to prevent you from going into a worse scenario.
Correct.
But we handle everything not me. People handle everything so emotionally. When one thing goes wrong, they're going to say it's a scam. They're going to get mad at everybody in the world. They take no accountability. They don't look at it as a learning lesson. I tell people failure is the data you need to fix what's not working.
Correct.
Message.
And people don't look at it like that.
So you have to educate yourself.
You got to.
You got to be able to weather the storms and the ups and downs.
You have to, no matter how long it takes.
You got to take the emotion out.
You have to.
And you have to have a good financial base of your living lifestyle before you can even dive into the entrepreneurial place.
Man, you know what? That is 1,000% the case. And as you said that, when I was working at Yellow Pages, when everybody, and everybody there was making money, decent money. And so everybody was going out buying these extravagant homes. And I remember when I bought my house in 2012, I told myself, I want to buy a house to where I want to have a mortgage payment to where if I lost my job, I could still afford the mortgage.
Correct.
And so everybody was going out there buying $500,000 homes, $600,000. Now, mind you, we were only making like 80 to 100 grand. So they're going out there getting $3,000 mortgage payments. And I was one of the first of all, I didn't even tell nobody when I closed on my house. Because you know me, I don't tell nobody shit.
At all.
And so
I don't tell anybody anything either.
So people still don't know anything about it. And so I said, you know what? I want to make sure I have a mortgage to where if I lost my job, I could still sustain.
Mm-hmm.
I never upgraded my car even when my income increased. I used to drive a 2009 GMC Envoy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even make those no more.
No. That was a nice car.
I had rims on it though.
That was a nice car though.
It was
Hell no.
Yeah, 10s. You kept them clean?
They was 18.
You kept them clean?
They was 18. Yeah, they was clean.
Oh, okay.
And so my personal expenses were not high.
Right.
And so when I went into entrepreneurship, the tax business didn't go well, and I still had a mortgage, car note, all of this stuff. I was able to go out there and still kind of quote unquote hustle to be able to service my living expenses.
Correct.
You know, I would take odds and ends jobs. I would, you know, I because I never had a problem working hard.
Right.
I didn't. And there was no Uber, there was no Postmates, like none of that stuff was around back in my like times is too easy now.
No,
people
definitely.
really have no excuse to at least make an extra $1,000 a month.
At all.
Like none.
No. I mean, you got Uber Eats, you got what's that, DoorDash.
Literally.
You go pick up somebody else's groceries as they order and deliver it to their house for them.
Literally.
I mean, it's so many different hustles out here. You can start your e-commerce business, like you said, on a small scale. But
well, not even from a business standpoint, just to make sure you can cover your regular bills.
Yeah. There's
things out there you can do that will pay you guaranteed.
Yeah.
For performing.
Definitely.
You know?
So entrepreneurship is and encompass it is not as peachy as everybody thinks.
Not even close.
And so some of the obstacles that people have to understand, you have to have a good teacher to help you take care of your emotions, or a coach to help you take care of your emotions during your entrepreneurial growth, right?
I'm glad you said that, because I think a lot of the times people think hiring a mentor guarantees them success.
At all.
And I tell people, your mentor really is your accountability coach.
Mm-hmm.
They're there to educate you on what will go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They are there to push you when shit does go wrong, because it will.
Yeah.
And to push personal development into your life.
Yeah.
See, when I was working with John a lot, we never talked about money.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Will, I'm going to teach you to be a better person. I'm going to teach you how to change the way you think.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you how to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Message.
Those were the things he taught me.
And you're teaching that to the We Management team, and the We Management team is teaching it to our mentees and our the people that we're coaching under the We Management platform.
That's the missing component.
Right.
People think there's a pill or the sauce or whatever to become successful. The secret in becoming successful is you becoming, because people are buying into you.
Correct.
So as they're buying into you, then you have to learn the implementation of whatever the result that you're offering.
Correct.
And so even from a business standpoint, like I'm working with a client right now who has a like a Zen bar. Mm-hmm. Like he teaches like what is it called? Self-care and all of that. Right, and he's more like an influencer in that space. And he said, Will, what is the thing that I need to focus on to build my business? I said, you need to figure out what the result is you're selling.
That's deep right there.
Because
Explain that.
Yeah. So when it comes to business, people are paying to get what you're offering.
Correct.
And your offer needs to come with a result.
Right.
So let's take our REI 90 program.
Mm-hmm.
So I titled it REI 90 because it's real estate investing in 90 days. During that night, when you're in that program, we're going to teach you everything you need to know, from implementation to strategy to concepts to deal evaluation, to in order to be able to close your deal within after that 90 days.
And will that person be profitable off their first deal?
Probably not. But that's not the goal. I'm
Right.
not saying, hey, you're going to be a millionaire in real estate. I'm not saying you're going to cash flow this amount of money in real estate. I'm saying we're going to help you get your first or your next deal after that 90 days, or you're at least in position or have the information to be able to do so. That's the result we're selling.
And then repeat.
Then you repeat it.
And then that's teaching them to what? Quit their job first day?
No. Matter of fact, I highly suggest you don't quit your job.
Should they go out and get a Mercedes?
No.
Should they go out and buy $1 million house?
No.
Should they go get some Louis Vuitton?
I mean, if it's fake, you can get a good deal.
Hell no.
Let me see what else. Should they go to Tulum on a vacation?
Man, look, the only thing they need to be doing is figuring out what they did to get that first property so they can rinse and repeat.
Wow.
It's that simple. And so we're selling the result.
Yeah.
But not only are we selling the result, we sell the implementation.
Mm-hmm.
See, one of the reasons a lot of people who buy the programs, why it doesn't work, because it doesn't come with implementation.
At all.
I'll give you an example. You ever shopped at IKEA?
Definitely.
Now when you buy something from IKEA, it's coming in 1,000 pieces. You gotta glue the screws together.
Yes, you do.
The screws don't even come put together.
No.
And so could you imagine going to IKEA, buying a box to put together a dresser or whatever, and there's no instruction manual, nor is there a picture that guides you? Because I look at the pictures too.
Definitely.
So you're just buying a box in 1,000 pieces. Or could you imagine buying a 500 or a 5,000 piece puzzle with no picture on the box?
You have no guide. You're lost.
That's what a lot of these programs do.
Right.
You buy the box with 1,000 pieces.
Message. Man.
And so what we sell is you get the instruction manual.
You get the picture.
You get the picture. And we have the result of the offer of why you want to invest in the REI network.
Wow. Nobody else is doing that in the marketplace that I know of.
Nobody even looks at it in that capacity.
Mm-hmm.
And so the obstacles of entrepreneurship is because nobody's teaching implementation. Nobody's teaching personal development.
No.
Like even in my 4-step methodology, the number one step I say is mindset. We don't even talk about money.
No.
If you think of, you can look at any of my videos, I never preach people getting rich.
2 or 3 times a week, you're basically talking about mindset as opposed to the strategies that you're implementing.
That's all I talk about.
Yeah.
I don't preach a dollar amount you're gonna make.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've done some advertising when I said, hey, we can help you get up to 250 in funding, but the result is the result we're selling is that we get you funded.
Yeah. Not
250. But that's why we say up to.
Even during that process of getting funding, we counsel and have conversations about what your strategy is to service the debt.
People say they ain't never even heard the term debt servicing until we said it.
Wow. That's strong right there.
And so this is why a lot of entrepreneurs are hitting these hiccups. And so essentially all I'm doing, and I know all you're doing is that we're helping people get better based upon the experiences that we've gone through.
Correct.
So that they don't have to go through it.
Yeah.
Didn't Jay-Z say something like that?
He definitely did.
He said something like that.
Yeah, he definitely did. Okay. I was trying to think of the bar while you were saying
I was trying to think too.
I couldn't get it.
So, but so that's the obstacles that people are going through. And it's easier, but it's harder now. It's easier because there's a blueprint now.
Mm-hmm.
See, there was no blueprint in entrepreneurship when I got in 2003 or when you got in 2005. There was no blueprint. All we did is we were taught, even though I'm thankful for this, we were just taught to get better.
Yeah.
Get better. Get better. Learn how to speak better. Learn how to carry yourself better. Learn to get more professional. Learn how to network. Learn how to become more confident. Learn how to remove your emotion. Learn how to take a no.
Mm-hmm. That's a big key right there.
That's what I was taught. I wasn't taught how to the X's and O's of business.
Mm-hmm.
You learn that through experience.
Definitely do.
Let me ask you a question, Curtis.
What's up?
At what age did you learn how to drive a car?
13.
Okay. Did you learn by reading the owner's manual of the car?
I learned by hopping in the car that was in my driveway because I was a basketball player and I had a court in my driveway. And actually, the first place I started learning how to drive was my riding mower that we had in our yard.
A lot of us learned that way too.
So that riding mower taught me how to drive.
Now,
then I transitioned to moving the car out of the driveway.
Oh man, you couldn't tell me nothing when I could move my mom's car.
Oh man, and I crashed into the garage one time though.
Hell no!
And I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I slept on it the night that I got up and told my mom because she was gonna find out regardless.
Right.
And so the next morning I got up and I said, Mom, I crashed the car into the garage.
Right.
And she stormed out of the room to go see what happened. But she was like, I'm glad you told me. I was honest. But at the same time, it took me a whole 8 hours in order to be honest with her.
Because you feel guilty when you do bad shit.
Of course.
I think everybody go through that.
You got to have that. I mean, some people don't have remorse when they do bad shit. But, I mean, it is what it is. But I did.
So to that point.
Right.
You learned how to drive by just driving.
Trial and error.
How come people don't look at that with business? You just got to go out there and do the shit.
Because they see the results of other people. And that's what people are visual learners.
I get that. But I'm saying the rhetorical question of that.
Mm-hmm.
How come we just don't go out there and just get in the vehicle? Like, I can give you all of the game.
Right.
But you still have to go through your own experiences because I don't know what your risk tolerance is.
Yeah, because it's not for everybody.
It's not. I don't know what your level of emotion is. I may be able to take a no better than you.
That's true.
You hear no and you want to quit.
Mm-hmm.
I hear no and I'm like, you'll be back. And so the mentor isn't your guarantee to success. Your mentor is there for the conditioning.
Exactly.
For the success.
Exactly.
It's the conditioning.
Right. That's a bar right there.
Nobody thinks about that.
No, it ain't. I mean, because a lot of people aren't getting this information.
That's because they are too busy looking at what car they're going to get that their favorite entrepreneur is driving.
You know, another thing that do putting pressure on men out here, these women, because we got to go to Cheesecake, bro.
Hell no!
We got to go to Cheesecake, man. I mean, actually, we can't even go to Cheesecake no more. We got to go to Ruth Chris, which I don't really like, but
Ruth Chris and Cheesecake about neck and neck.
They about neck and neck, man.
But you can't tell nobody else that. People will argue to you that Ruth Chris is more high class than Cheesecake.
I mean, Ruth Chris, I can't do Ruth anymore.
I'm just going wherever they got good food.
And right now, where's that at? Where's your favorite spot?
It depends on the type of food.
Okay.
It depends on the type of food.
Oh, tell them about the experience in Milwaukee that one time.
Which one?
Hell no!
We went to the steakhouse in Milwaukee.
Oh, man. Now, here's the irony of that. That's like the high-end restaurant in Milwaukee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me down.
Shout out to Carson's.
Hell no!
I won't go back there, though.
He brought you a steak out. You asked for what? Raw?
No, I don't do raw. Come on. That's crazy. But I asked for medium.
He asked for a medium steak.
I asked for a medium
and it was extra well done. And he said, oh, maybe it's the lighting.
It's the lighting. When's the last time you heard somebody tell you your steak is
it's
medium,
overcooked,
but it's overcooked because of the light?
Hell
you
no!
Gotta be a hell of a salesperson.
He sold me that day because I ate it because I was hungry, fresh off the plane.
So just because it's a name or a staple or Michelin or whatever, that doesn't mean the food gonna always be good.
So being the CEO of your lifestyle and being an entrepreneur, it comes with a lot.
Oh man, because you're juggling.
Yeah,
you're juggling, and you have to juggle your priorities.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I started to learn is that you have to learn how to, because ain't no such thing as balance.
Mm-hmm.
At least this is my opinion.
Okay.
There's no such thing as balance when it comes to being an entrepreneur or a businessman or a businesswoman.
Every day is something different.
Every day. But what you have to do is you have to learn how to marry your personal and business life.
Mm-hmm.
See, once you learn how to marry them, meaning the people in your personal life are involved in the day-to-day of your growth some kind of way.
So you need a team.
You need a team.
Yeah.
and your family ultimately ends up being a part of your team.
Yes.
Maybe not necessarily within the business,
Yeah.
but they're on board in you being able to operate fluidly in your business.
Right. So your mom may be a person that's on helping you with accounting.
Yeah, definitely.
Your
And
wife may be able to send out emails on your
all
behalf.
of that, man. You have to have, you got to marry your team, your family into your business, because there is no balance.
Yeah.
None.
That's key right there. That's a bar.
And so, but again, nobody's teaching this stuff. They just say, you got to get up at 4 a.m. and go to bed at 2 a.m. and eat plant-based food and run 15 miles and read 30 books a day, and you'll be successful.
That's not it. That's not it.
I hate some of these podcast guys who just people be lying on the internet.
We talked about that last time, man.
People will get on the internet and literally say anything.
But also people walking around lying too, though. It's not just on the internet. You might have a coach that you pay for, or somebody that might be successful. I had a few coaches in the financial advising space that advised me,
right,
and was totally living something totally different than what they were doing when they were advising.
Because you only got to impress a few people.
Yes, you do. And that's crazy. I mean, they were showing me big checks, and then they can do this, but then I've dived deeper into it after a few years, and I'm looking at them, and they were committing fraud. I've seen people commit fraud and legit as financial advisors and as insurance agents.
That's another thing I think that holds people hostage in entrepreneurship, is that the barometer of what they think is success is that they're trying to compete with somebody who's committing fraud.
Yeah.
That person didn't work hard. That person ain't putting in hours.
They cut the corners.
They cut corners. And so because they think, oh, it came easy for them, it should come easy for me. Yeah, because that person is committing fraud.
Message.
So this is why you just got to run your own race. And one of the things my mentor often taught me is that you have to run your race like this.
Blinders on.
I don't see what this person on the side of me doing. I don't see what this person is on the side of me doing. I'm looking at everything that Will Roundtree is focused on. I don't care if your bag is larger than mine. I don't care if you got more people in your workshops. I don't care if this, and because I don't know what you did to get them in there.
What God has for you is for you.
It's for you. Because just because a person makes more money doesn't mean they're more successful
at all. And they might not even be happy.
Well, not only that, I know a lot of people with a lot of money, but they don't got shit. They're empty.
Yes.
They own nothing.
Yes.
But they done been to every country. They got every outfit. They go to every turn up.
Yes.
But once they stop tap dancing, they money is done.
Struggling. We get a lot of those people coming to us.
We get a lot of them that come up.
We ain't gonna tell on you though. But I mean, we know you guys out there.
Yeah, we see the analytics,
and we support you guys too, though, because this is a transition. Everybody needs to come to Jesus or come to God when they're trying to figure out their life, their struggles.
Yeah, but you got to come humble.
You got to become humble.
No, they got to be humble.
Oh,
we ain't got to be humble.
Oh, okay.
Because because you can't come over being that used to be.
Yeah.
So there's a time to be humble.
Yeah.
And the time to be humble is that, yeah, you may have been a man in high school, but no, over here, you got to start from the bottom. So, yeah, you got to lower yourself.
And then also as somebody that becomes successful young, which I did, you have to be open-minded to somebody telling you, slow down, young buck. Don't do that. Don't do that, young buck. Don't save your money, young buck. Don't invest in those cars, young buck. Invest. When you get a lot of money or a windfall or a big commission sale or something like that, or a lot of these athletes come across money and they're trying to compete and buy things to impress women and have a lifestyle, you shouldn't do that.
You shouldn't, man.
You have to understand. You have to have some polish about you to be able to go out and learn and continue to build off that money.
Well, again, this is why that coach is there to account them.
Correct.
To promote personal development, because when you're going through those ebbs and flows, you may have a period where you make no money, and 100%. Now at me as your mentor, I got to be able to keep telling you like, yo, you almost there.
Yeah,
you're almost there. But then sometimes, does your work ethic match your goal?
Oh, that's key.
A lot of people's work ethic don't match their goal.
Right.
You know, and what they say, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, if a person tells me what their goal is, and that based upon their activity, I can pretty much tell you why they are not where they are, where they want to be, because it's the activity.
Okay.
I don't care what they show you on the internet. What you doing when the lights are out,
right?
Because that's when champions are made, when the lights are out.
100%. Message. Wow. That's good, man.
That's good.
That's
So
good.
So for anyone who is looking to be that entrepreneur, and I know there's a lot of people who, you know, still have that aspiring dream. They may have tried 5 or 6 different things and had little to no success. What would you tell that individual if you could give them some advice?
Wake up every day and figure out if you have the work ethic to be an entrepreneur, first of all. And then also from that same standpoint, what is your risk tolerance? Because if you're an emotional person, you're gonna have to go through these ups and downs. And if those emotions eat at you every day, you may not be able. There's gonna be some sleepless nights. There's gonna be some nights where your bank account's gonna be low and things of that nature, and you might want to take a lady out to eat, or you may want to take some man out to eat or something like that, or go on a date, and you may not be able to do that stuff. You may be watching everybody around you. That's why you got to have those blinders on and staying focused to your goal. And if you're consistent, and if you can weather those ups and downs, you're going to be able to be successful in the long run.
No, definitely good points. I know some of the things I would just echo and piggyback off of. Be yourself.
True.
I see so many people who are caught up trying to be so and so and be such and such.
Right.
Be yourself.
Right.
See, the reason I tell people that I'm not a good speller is because I want people to know that I'm human.
Right.
I want people to know that I'm human.
Yeah.
Like I tell people, I'm not smart per the definition of what people say smart is. Because I mispronounce words and I don't spell good.
Correct.
But I'd rather say I is a millionaire than I am smart.
You sound like Sambo over there.
I'd rather say I is a millionaire. But real talk, like I'm always me.
Yeah. And I'm always me too.
Yeah. And so some of the things I would tell people is that, look, you're going to go through shit.
Yeah.
Fail fast.
Yes.
See, when you go through the pitfalls, when you go through the obstacles, when you go through the ebbs and flows, and know that there is no happy ever after ending in every single path of your entrepreneurship journey.
Correct.
You're going to lose friends. You may lose a marriage. You may lose relatives. You may get uninvited to the cookouts, to the barbecues, to the family reunions. Your friends going to stop liking you because they think you're changing. Like everything around your world is going to change because you are changing.
Wow.
And because they know who you used to be, it's hard for them to fathom that you're the new version of you, who you have to be in order to amass what it is you want to amass.
That's key right there. That's key.
And so outside of the work ethic, outside of all of those things, you're going to have to know that this shit is not for everybody. It's not for the faint. It's not for those who want to be a people pleaser. Look, I'm going to tell you all of the things that everybody else lying to you about. Your family lying to you, your baby, your bae, your boo, your hun, like they lying to you. It's not going to be all right. You're going to go through some shit. It's going to be lonely. You might lose every single penny on the path of trying to hit your goal.
Right.
But that might be what you need to go through early. Cause I'm glad I lost tens of thousands instead of hundreds of thousands. Because now it taught me how to move. And the main reason I lost that money is because I was chasing it.
Because you developed through that, you developed the skill set to get it back.
I learned how to get it back.
So you didn't quit. You had the perseverance to continue to keep going because you had a dream to be an entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
You tasted the entrepreneurship and you wanted to get back to that on the day. And even that sacrifice of you going back to Yellow Pages and getting a job and then starting your entrepreneur endeavor again, your entrepreneurial journey again, that allowed you to make those mistakes. So you're going to take losses.
Man, see, here's one of the things that a lot of people don't pay attention to. most people have failed multiple times before they even became an entrepreneur.
I only think people internalize that when they hear that, when people say that they've taken those losses.
They don't, because people hear failure and they look at it as, oh, I'm scared to fail. And I'm like, you've been doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was 24, prior to me going into entrepreneurship, I was working at a company where I thought I was going to retire from. I started working there at 18. I'm making, $24 an hour. I'm making more money than the parents of the girl I was dating at the time. And I thought I was going to retire from there. And then that company abruptly shut down after me being there 8 years. I'm 24 years old and I had to move back into my parents' basement.
Right.
That was a failure. I failed. But that was the step backwards I needed, because if I hadn't went through that, I wouldn't have became an entrepreneur, because I would have been comfortable. But then what did it teach me? It taught me that even though I made as much money as I was making in my early 20s, no kids, no mortgage, my rent on a 2-bedroom, and I split the rent with my cousin, was $375, and we was living in like a luxury apartment.
Right.
I had a Toyota Camry brand, but what the lesson I learned from that is that I worked there 7 years. In a week after I got laid off or the company shut down, I had no money in my bank account.
Wow.
So I had to learn how to become a better steward of my money.
Exactly.
So that had to happen in order for me to say, you know what? I need to start taking better care of my money. And so sometimes that failure is the data you need, because it's teaching you, look, you got to work on something.
Man, that's key, dog.
And so that's what I would tell an entrepreneur, is that get out your freaking feelings and just know that failure is teaching you something.
Yes.
And when you sit back and have enough and you eliminate the distractions and stop trying to numb the distraction, that failure is teaching you something that you got to work on, because in order for you to get better on your next venture, that's the thing you got to get better at.
Ooh, that is a CEO talking to you about entrepreneurship. Man, give me chills right there, dog.
Hey, I can go another 5 hours, but we got to wrap up. So who would you like to give a shout out to, man? And how can they find you?
They can find me on social media platform. My company, C. Blair and Associates, is on there. My personal is Mr. C. Blair. We got all type of merch coming out right now on the Full-Time CEO Instagram page as well. I'm on We Management as well, man. I'm one of the counselors and business entrepreneur coaches on there as well. So what about you, man? Where can they find you?
Man,
you the pooba.
They can find me across all social media platforms at Mr. Will Roundtree, and make sure you find the page that's verified, because it's a lot of somebody done sent me 7 fake pages that they just followed.
Hell no.
Man, you ugly too. I don't know why they want to keep doing that.
Look, I know. Look, I tell people I'm one of a kind.
For sure.
I'm one of a kind.
For sure.
See, ugly is one of a kind too.
Hey, somebody gonna like me out there. That's all I say.
Somebody gonna eventually like me. And so definitely, again, we want to shout out Smok Cigar Lounge.
Yeah, Smok Cigar Lounge.
Chelsea showed us a lot.
Chelsea, we love you. Appreciate you for letting us come out here.
A lot of love over here, and give it up for the women-owned, veteran-owned businesses.
Hey, man.
Women entrepreneurs is taking over.
Definitely, man. We definitely have a lot of women entrepreneurs.
They are taking over.
Yes.
And so with that being said, we appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all following all of the socials. Full-Time CEO Instagram page at Mr. Will Roundtree.
Yes.
At We Management.
Yes.
Shout out your social again one more time so they can find it.
Mr. C. Blair and Associates.
See, anytime somebody got 2 pages, you know they out here doing something.
You got to be an entrepreneur,
They're
man.
making moves.
Yeah,
so,
try it, man.
With that being said, we'll appreciate that. We'll appreciate y'all, and more importantly, we'll see y'all at the top. Let's go.